published author to run a $500 boot camp offer.
Please go back and watch her video and then come back here. That way you have context. After I saw this video in her video in my feed last night, multiple videos about this author that's teaching a $500 query boot camp come through my feed, and they kind of got rougher and rougher, saying that she is a grifter selling snake oil, that you can learn everything you need to learn about publishing for free online, that you, if anybody's trying to charge you to teach you how to write a query letter, they are grifting you. It's a scam. And I feel like the language is getting more and more hyperbolic, and the examples are getting more extreme and absolute as I'm watching these videos go through my feed. And I'm starting to feel a kind of way about it because I teach workshops. And most of pretty much all of my workshops have new authors in them because of the kinds of things that I teach. So I'm, in this community for several years now, and I'm watching these videos come through my feed, and I'm suddenly feeling like many of my fellow author talk and book talk community members now have a negative view of something that I do, and that felt like crap. Now, there, of course, are differences. I am not a traditionally published author, with the exception of an anthology that I belong to. I am not charging $500, and I I don't make guarantees about anything. I'm not even saying that the author in question is doing those things. Going through her videos, I saw a lot of implying. I didn't see any, promising. She had the kind of video that she has is very annoying to me. It's the super short hook and then long text that you have to read, so the video loops over and over again, so that you have watched the video multiple times, and it gets her views up. Again, I don't like it. I do think that it's not the best way to do a TikTok, but she's got way more followers than I do, so obviously it works. But I obviously don't just focus on what works. I focus on what matters to me and what I connect with. And I like to guide new authors through the processes that I found difficult myself. Particularly as a woman author who was over 40, or a woman author who was brand new to the publishing world, and all of the kinds of things that I had to do to get myself in a position where I felt worthy of writing a book. And I definitely don't charge anywhere near $500. Yes, I've taken workshops. That was one of the questions. I've taken workshops. I've paid a little bit of money, or some people might say a lot of money, depending on the workshop and who was teaching it and what I was learning and how long it was, what it all included. Now, there is a writer's center near where I live. I live in the DC area, and there is a writer's center in Bethesda that has courses that cost as much as her course, some of them more, some of them less. But in my view, if she was teaching multiple days, or if there was a lot included with her boot camp, it might be worth $500. I don't know. I just didn't think it was that out of line with some of the other courses I've seen. So I was surprised at how upset people were. I do think if you're going to be traditionally published, I don't, you can absolutely find out how to write a query letter online for free. Some people want more guidance than that. Some people want to learn from a person that they admire. It just depends. This is so subjective. There's so many variables. I do think in my opinion, I don't think what she's doing could be considered grifting, based on what I've seen so far. Again, if it's like a 2-hour course and all she's teaching is how to write a query letter, yes, that is not good. I have a feeling, though, it being called a boot camp, it was probably multiple days. I can't figure out what the $500 covers. Maybe she took it down during the controversy. I don't know. Anyway, Bethesda Writer Center charges these prices that are higher, prices that are lower. It just depends on the course, how long it is, what people, how many people want it, how demand it is, the cachet of the person who's teaching it, and all of those things. Again, so many variables. But my whole point is basically, I feel like Um, all of authors who teach workshops are kind of getting dragged by association right now, with people saying things like, um, if you can get you can learn everything you want about publishing online for free. If anybody's trying to charge you, it's a grift. If people are selling a course online, they are just, all they care about is money first and foremost. And I don't agree with that. I don't agree with it because I know it's not true for me. And I know that I've taken some very valuable workshops and courses that have served me well. There is a lot of predatory behavior out there. I would say most of it is in the publishing side, where somebody promises, predatory vanity press, for example, not author services or high or non-predatory hybrids, but definitely there are predatory vanity press situations out there that are probably, to me, the more threatening than authors teaching courses that may or may not be of value to somebody. In conclusion, I feel like it would be a stretch for me to say this particular author is a grifter, and that she's selling snake oil and that all she cares about is money. I read over her statement. I do think that the use of the word caddy, as someone mentioned, is kind of sexist, and I didn't care for it. It also sort of invalidates any criticism that is valid by implying that it's just because it's other women that are being critical. Somebody might consider that a red flag and might consider her looping videos a red flag. I, all I'm trying to say is, I guess, that there are so many variables that I don't have the answers to be able to make a determination as to whether or not I think $500 is too much for what she was teaching. But also that this whole discourse has made me feel like my community is now looking down on something that I do. I'm not going to stop trying to help and teach. If I stop, every time I got criticized, I stopped doing it. I used to be an artist, and I used to do body positivity and body politics art. And if I stopped doing the things that I'm doing every time somebody was critical of me, I would have stopped a long time ago doing all kinds of things. I'm a plus size bi woman with gray hair, so I definitely have had my fair share of criticisms, and new ones show up all the time. Anyway, I'm going to be starting a podcast soon, and I will add this discussion to my agenda. If anybody's interested in coming on the podcast to discuss this, let me know. Cardin Brooks and I will be having a guest form out there soon. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be both an author and a reader focused podcast. So I think this topic would fit right in with it. I do value people's opinions and feedback. I know that this was not directed at me, and I also know that I'm not grifting anybody, that I, with my whole heart, like to help new authors, and my courses and the things I do are either free or very cheap. I like being accessible. But I don't have the luxury of not being compensated for my time, at least part of the time. It's not a sustainable thing for me. So I don't have a choice but to sometimes pay. And I do think that some of my hard learned stuff that I've learned over the many years is worth something. And I just want to say that I paid to learn how to write a query letter. I paid back in 2002, and I bought a copy of Writer's Market, which, if you don't know what that is a big fat book that is a great resource for where to find publishers and agents. And it used to be the only way to find publishers and agents unless you knew somebody. And that book had a information section on about how to write a query letter. If you're ever concerned about whether or not something has some red flags, you are welcome to message me, drop me a comment. I can't say I'm going to have all the answers or no, but I've been doing indie publishing long enough to recognize things that at least have an air of scamminess. Happy writing, happy reading. Have a lovely weekend.